both ways, okay? Do you know how to do that?
Yep.
Yeah?
I think so.
All
right. So my name's Jake Budarazzi.
Hey, Jake.
There we go.
I'm a journalist for Carpe Diem.
All right.
So, first of all, congrats on the release of Trio.
Thank you.
It was launched last Wednesday, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, I'd just like to start off by saying we appreciate you reaching out to us. This isn't something that we usually get.
Sure.
So, I'm guessing it's been a pretty big few days for you and your partners. It sounds like Trio has, like you have pretty big dreams for it, like you think it can be the next Instagram. How do you think they're similar and how do you think they're different?
Well, so similar in the space of really trying to, fulfill a particular need in social media. Like if you're going to create a new successful social media app, you got to give people a capability that they didn't have before. So if we were to, build a new app that could make pretty pictures, even if it was a better app than Instagram, it still wouldn't work because people already kind of have that need fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're trying to do is give people a new capability of basically using third-party content to make video. And this follows in a pattern of other apps that exist today. So like Tumblr, you use third-party assets to make articles. Pinterest, you use third-party assets, other people's content, to make galleries. So with Trio, you use other people's content to make video. And what that does is it just enables a different kind of creativity. One where if you want to make a video today and you want to express yourself, it needs to be one of a couple things. You either need to have gone and done something pretty interesting, like gone on vacation, have a bunch of photos that you can turn into a video, and that's great. But I don't know about you, but I don't get to go on vacation all the time. I wish I did, but my life is just kind of normal. Or you need to be kind of good at making video. Like for Vine, for example, it's only 6 seconds, but to make a good Vine, the lighting's got to be good. It can't be too noisy. You got to do a bunch of takes, and it's like a whole production.
Mm-hmm.
So most people aren't very good at it very often. By letting people use third-party content, it just opens up the kind of creativity that you can do. You can be on your couch, with the lights off, and still be able to be creative and still have a voice and still express yourself by being able to remix and sort of comment on and put together other people's content and have that be your form of creativity. So, to answer your question, that capability doesn't currently exist as a sort of part of the social media constellation, and we're looking to fill that niche.
All right. Cool. So, in a perfect world, where do you think Trio will be within a year?
Within a year? Definitely in the millions of users. I don't know if it's single digits or double digits, but let's set our sights reasonable. Basically, to be sort of the clear. I don't know about complete winner yet, but kind of when anyone thinks about mashups, they think about Trio, and that's obviously the place where you go to do that. We want to have more sources in there. Right now we have a good number of external sources to start, but we want to be adding more. I'd like, just for the product to keep improving, of course. In a year, we may start some early experimentation with the business model. I don't know that we'll be full blown there quite yet, but start to bring in a couple early brands to play with a couple things. Have a growing team. Couple more of these shirts.
Those are cool shirts. I like that color.
Thank you.
Yeah. How do you think Trio encourages collaboration? So I know you said the like third parties and stuff like that. But I also read that there's a very collaborative side to it.
Sure, sure. So on the actual creation itself, one way that you collaborate is that you are using other people's content, and so that becomes just a very different kind of creativity. It's like whatever, it's you and your friends and the social engagement you've got on there, and then somebody else's content as well, and so they become part of the equation. So that becomes, you get to make it so other people's content just gets used in a whole in a whole remixed way. Part of the collaboration is on our challenges feature. This is probably still our most experimental feature, and I think it still needs to evolve a little bit. But the notion where you can put out a challenge or like a call to action, and get people to accept that challenge and create content around a particular topic, and have all that content grouped together. What we're trying to do there is to kind of productize what made like Ice Bucket successful, what made Harlem Shake successful. You have a bunch of people creating content around a topic. You have that content grouped together. It's got a formula to it, so it's easy conceptually. You know what you're supposed to do, but there's still plenty of room for creativity because no two are the same. And there's a little friendly competition, to see who could do it funniest or best or whatever. So that's one where it becomes very collaborative because you get people like creating stuff around the same topic. We're looking for it to end up being a feature that like friends use to do like, inside jokes, and things like that, where, it's kind of like a meme or a hashtag, but better organized.
Okay.
So, I think that the feature still needs a couple more privacy settings, a couple more like sort of invitation settings, but that's one that we think could grow into. And basically, the reason that we're doing that is with everything in this app, we're saying like, look, video creation in general is super duper hard. So how do we remove as many barriers as possible? One of the barriers is the assets that all these different sources, and that's a big thing. But another barrier we're trying to remove is inspiration. Like, what if I don't have an idea of what to create right now? I don't have a clever 6-second skit in mind. Challenges is one of those things that we're hoping you don't have to have an idea. Basically, ideas are pushed to you by your friends or by people you follow. So anyways, that's those are some of the things that I think are collaborative and that serve the mission of the app to make media creation more accessible to everybody.
All right. And so, since you reached out to us, we're assuming that your target age group is teenagers. But do you have a target age group, or just how do you think that age group would respond to it?
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely teenagers. It's definitely high school and college is how we're spending most of our time doing outreach and we're trying to have the conversation on that level right now. I mean, look, we can get covered by mainstream press, but if a bunch of old people just read about us, it's not really that useful because like that's not our target audience. You guys are early adopters. You guys are very creative. You guys are very viral. So something works well, it spreads very quickly within your communities. So that's what we're looking to have the conversations. Like, sure, talking to high schools, I'm only like reaching a couple thousand students at a time, but still, I think that is ultimately the best way for us to go. And not only that, but I think I think it ends up being kind of cool for the high school. You don't often get startups like approaching you and talking about product releases, and we get to learn a lot because look, I mean, you guys are our user base, and we love to hear from the folks that are actually using your product and like have ideas and suggestions and complaints and feedback. Like if you actually want to include our email, it's trio@trioapp.app. Co. And we want that. We want to hear, we read and respond to every email. And so by having the conversation on that level, I think it's fun for the high schools and great for our business.
All right. And I also heard that you previously produced 2 apps that didn't succeed as well as you thought they would.
Sure.
Do you expect Trio to do well? Obviously, you expect Trio to do better. What have you learned from those 2?
Yeah. So we had 2 previous products that kind of like have all built upon each other to get to where we are now. So in both those were web products. One was a destination site where you come and create content there. The other one was an embedded widget that we put on sites of sports and media brands, and kind of had it like you go to NBA.com and create a highlight reel there using their videos, powered by our technology. So and every one of the products did sort of better than the one before, but it takes a while in this space. We're now almost 3 years old, and been making products for about 2.5 years, and it just takes a while. Like virtually every consumer app that and love that's popular, they had a similar period of 2 to 3 years before you heard about them, where they weren't very good and they were wandering in the wilderness, and we've had that as well. So I think it's just kind of as much as you would hope that you could get it right from the beginning, almost nobody does. It just takes a little while of figuring it out, because the social media space, it's one of those things where it's got to be just the right tweak, just the right new concept. The constraints are just in the right new place to produce something that millions and hundreds of millions of people are going to like. So I think that it took us a while to figure it out, but look, we can't guarantee success for anything, but I know, having been in the space now, that Trio has the DNA of a winner. Whether we'll realize our potential or not, we'll see. Got to have a lot of luck, got to have a lot of execution, but I think it's got the legs.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So, okay, straying away from the app now.
Sure.
I heard that you are in the Guinness Book of World Records. What was that for?
I'm a Guinness Book of World Records finalist.
Finalist,
not record holder.
Okay.
So here's what happened. And I say it because it's almost just kind of a better story that way anyways. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of traveling after college. So I graduated college in 2005. And I traveled to about 70 countries in the 7 years after college, just through taking time off, through my various school things, through my various work things. Mm-hmm. One of the things was we did a trek to Everest Base Camp in Nepal. And so not the top of Mount Everest, but just the base camp, the part where you can walk. It's hard, but you can walk there. That's about 18,000 feet. And we applied for the Guinness World Record for the highest altitude snowman. Not the snowman that itself is the tallest, but is in the tallest location. It was only about 4 feet tall. And we were doing this because we were like bored and had some time. We had to acclimate for the day. My buddy, I said to my buddy, I'll bet this is the highest snowman anyone's ever made. He said, Misha, I'm sure that's not true. It's like, you know what? You're probably right. It's not true. But I'll bet we could be the first to properly document it and get the record. So he's like, okay. So we take a bunch of photos, we did all the things. There's like a little tiny, not even town, like couple tea houses in the background where you can identify where we are, blah, blah, blah. We submit it to Guinness Book of World Records, and they accept the premise, but to get the official record, it requires 2 eyewitnesses that you can sign, and it was only me and my friend I was traveling with, and our Sherpa. And first of all, the Sherpa, very difficult to reach. His town gets electricity once a week, and he's not on Facebook. So that was that. And then for the other one, anyways, both me and my friend did this together, and we're like, well, we're both going to have it, or none of us are going to have it. So didn't get to meet the requirement, but we're going to go back someday with a crew of like 50 people, and get that record once and for all.
Oh, well, that's certainly a very interesting record. Now, you went to MIT and University of California, Berkeley.
Correct.
Do you think those schools were a good fit for you? And what advice would you have for students about picking a school?
Yeah, I loved it. Look, like all the different schools you can look at. So I really liked going big public school and then something else. For undergrad, I liked a big public school because you kind of got to sink or swim. Yeah, I mean, everyone does fine, but if you really want to make something I got to be student body president, and to earn that and to get to that point at a 33,000 person school, is difficult. And that was one of the most formative experiences, sort of my young life. And doing that at Berkeley, I feel like was just a whole different ball of wax than would have been doing that anywhere else. Or even if it's not student government, like whatever kind of clubs or whatever you want to do, doing it at a school that's big, where it's plenty supportive, but no one is holding your hand. I think is really that's just life, and I think it's very meaningful. For grad school, I don't have a strong opinion, public versus private. It doesn't really matter because in grad school you're kind of part of your program, and it's kind of small regardless, even if you're at a big school. So for me it was cool. I grew up in Southern California. Undergrad Northern California, grad school East Coast. Got sort of a couple different experiences there. For the things that I wanted to do, originally my goal going into grad school was to become an astronaut. Really, not I'm 5 years old, I want to be an astronaut. I was 25, I wanted to be an astronaut. And those were the places to do it. I ended up deciding that that wasn't really what I actually wanted to do with my life. And so went towards business and sort of business and technology. But I think those schools gave me everything that I wanted in order to pursue whatever dreams I had.
And then you said earlier that after college you traveled a lot, and actually I heard that you spent a year in Shanghai, working
Correct.
in Shanghai.
Correct.
What would you say you learned about yourself and about the world when you were traveling, and how do you think that has helped you in your life, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good question. So about myself, just the ability to be adaptable. That you can really I don't know. I guess there's almost nowhere. There's nowhere where I think I can't go there. I mean, unless it's in the middle of a war or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I just have the confidence that what, wherever I need to go, whichever kind of people I need to interact with, I can figure it out. Even if I don't speak the language, even if I don't know it. I mean, better if I do. Better if I know something about the place. I'll have a richer experience, but I'm not going to be like a lost baby bird. In any of these places, you just figure it out. People are pretty good in general, around the world. People live in, reasonably similar ways. There's a lot of cultural differences from place to place, but, people ultimately kind of want the same things, anywhere you go. And so that was great. In terms of professionally, it just taught me more about storytelling and about, you collect media and you want to present a story in interesting ways. You don't want it to get boring or stale. I mean, a lot of the whole of me looking at mashups was because, I did a lot of traveling and I wanted to present that content to my friends. But I didn't want to like make it boring. Oh, there's Misha in a new place. Like, oh, it's not. It kind of becomes stale. Even if it's Tajikistan and like somewhere entirely new, if it's just the same thing over and over again from the people that I want to speak to's perspective, it gets a little stale. And so I was always looking for kind of like innovative and fun ways to present media. And had it not been for that, that probably wouldn't have been on my mind. It certainly wasn't my profession for a long time. It was about 7 years of being a hobby before I turned it into a career. So yeah, I mean, all that very much, had all that travel not happened, definitely wouldn't be doing this right now.
So you went from college student to world traveler to software designer now. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of different stuff. But that's what's kind of, I don't know. I mean, it may sound kind of cheesy, but that's what's great about. So my parents grew up in the former Soviet Union, in Moldova, or what's now Moldova, and like here I can just do that. I was born here. I was born in St. Louis, and I can just do that. And where my parents came from, you couldn't. I kind of had to do what you were told to do. And so I don't know. It just kind of, it's such a blessing that we have that ability to try all these different things and kind of do what you want. And if you can work hard and just have some luck and just keep at it, you can ultimately be successful at the things you want to do.
All right. And so just to wrap up now, I have a few quick questions that you can only answer with 1 to 5 words.
With 5 words?
Up to 5 words, yep.
Okay,
You ready?
Okay.
Okay. What's the favorite place you ever lived?
San Francisco, honestly, where I am now.
And what's your favorite TV show?
Say Walking Dead.
Ooh,
The Walking Dead.
that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
How about your favorite song?
Rather Be by Clean Bandit. It's mine and my girlfriend's, like, our song right now, and so it's very catchy.
Okay. What do you think the best quality in a work partner is?
It is confident humility, the ability to be strong in one's ideas, and have and also the ability to listen to others at the same time. Me and my partner Clay are very much like that. We both have a lot of ideas. Sometimes we have knock down, drag out, design fights over features, but it always comes out better because we both have good ideas, and the combination of our ideas is even better, and we listen to each other.
Okay. And last one. What are the 5 words you hope people use to describe Trio?
So mashup, what it is. Fun, creative, entertaining, and I guess empowering.
Okay. Nice. So that's perfect.
Okay.
That's all I have now.
Awesome. Yes. So you have our landing page, trioapp.co, that you can link. There's a link to the app from there. Email trio@trioapp.co. I'd love to hear from folks. Please do send the link when you're done. I'd love to see it.
Oh, and one last question, actually, that I just remembered.
Sure.
I tried to download Trio on my phone, but I have an Android, and I couldn't find it.
Correct.
So it's only on iPhone right now.
Right now, yeah. And that's typically kind of the playbook among young social media companies. It's very expensive to develop for both iPhone and Android at the same time. So typically, what people do is you start an iPhone, just for a lot of reasons. There's more early adopters there, just how it is. You wait to see that you have a success, and then you build it for Android as well. So kind of sucks as an Android user, but it's just the historical pattern is that's what seems to work. So that said, we're hoping to have a version for Android later this year.
All right, cool. So that's
Okay.
all I have. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's it. Just thanks so much. Yes, and send me a link when you're done.
All right. Yep. We
Cool.
will do that.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Have a nice day.
Bye bye.
Okay.
That was so cool. All right. So stop.